Hello! Welcome back. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And today we are talking about, now, I recruited more than one and record these more than one a day. Now we are talking about Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. And to me, at least in my personal opinion, all three of these movies are great. Good films. But this is always the one, I have seen Fellowship of the Ring millions of times. And I've caught Return of the King on TV before and seen the big battle towards the end. But this one, for me, is a mixed bag. Now, it's not a middle-of-the-road movie because there's so much good in this. But it is sort of a mixed bag because I've always felt that the end of the last film set up something, and here they just sort of fall apart, at least on one end. Because the end of the last one, if you don't know, it sets up Sam and Frodo going to Mordor on their own, and Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn going to find Merry and Pippin. Trying to find Merry and Pippin takes up maybe 20 minutes of their time, if even, because it's split, maybe 10 minutes, I don't know. They try to find them, they think they're dead, then they realize they're not dead, and they fall into a forest, they run into someone else, and they're like, okay, they're fine without us. They got trees. And then just do something else. What they're doing is good, but it just seemed like they set up what their mission was going to be, and then when they're writing this, or maybe it's in the book, I don't know, I haven't read the books, I don't want to sit and read a long ass book, but I don't know. There also seems to be stuff missing, if I want to say that right. This new character, Irohen, or whatever her name is, she's played by Miranda Otto. She's this new female character who tells Aragorn that the women have been trained to fight. However, when the big battle for Helm's Deep happens, they bring in the boy children, but women are not allowed to fight for some reason. And I guess they shot scenes with Arwen and Arwen fighting at the end. And if you pay attention real close, I guess, I didn't see it, but you can see Arwen, you got to pay real close attention, fighting in there with a helmet on, but they took it out. And I guess Arwen was supposed to lead the elves at the end that were sent by Gal Gadot, whatever, Kate Blanchett. Yes, I forgot her name again. But no, it's just random elf dude that was seen once in the last film, and then he dies, and it's just like, okay, what's the point of him coming back for a cameo? He's gonna die shortly after. There are things to do, like the reintroduction of Gollum. He gets more explored here, and I guess I was sort of incorrect when I said he was a hobbit. I guess he's a race of hobbits that were before they were called hobbits. They were called river folk, I guess, but he's technically a hobbit, I think. But yeah, he attacks Sam and Frodo, mostly Frodo, trying to get the precious back. And I love the dynamic he has with himself, where there's Smeagol and there's Gollum. And they're constantly fighting. At one point, he tells Gollum, go away. But he comes back at the end. But, Smeagol wants to help. Gollum wants to kill. So, yeah, the Precious has split him in two. At this point, he's way, out of it. At this point, we found out more about Smeagol, Gollum in the next one. But I think it's pretty good. And, the CGI... It's 2002 CGI, but it's not bad. It's motion capture. It's Andy Serkis. It's good. So like I said, the subplot with Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas, they go to find Merry and Pippin. Merry and Pippin are are been captured by the orc and the Urkai, the Urki, whatever they are, and the Orkai, the Urkai, whatever. My big problem with them is they now talk. Why do they talk? Because Peter Jackson or whoever wrote this wrote scenes in which there were no other people there but Merry and Pippin. So he had to have dialogue. So now, out of fucking nowhere, the orcs talk. Some people don't mind this. I think it's stupid. They did not talk at all in the last one. All of a sudden, they are now speaking and talking about meat. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's because they needed to have dialogue in a scene where normally there wouldn't be because orcs didn't talk before. But now they do, so I don't know. And Merry and Pippin are first. See, there's a how do I want to put this? There's something that happens at the end of the last one. What happens? Gandalf dies. In the last one, Gandalf dies. Okay, yeah, how to put it? Frodo was stabbed twice. Gandalf dies. Boromir dies. And then we're left with that sense of dread because they're separated and you know. Here, Frodo's not even really attacked much. He's attacked once by Gollum. After that, never again. There's no real big danger. They're just taken by Faramir, Boromir's brother. Just change a couple letters and you have a different character. Different person. Everyone's name have to... Well, I guess Aragorn. But there's R's everywhere, I guess. Frodo. Sam. His Gamgee. There's no R's in his name, but you know. Merry Pippin. Whose name is Peregrintuk. So, didn't say there's an R. But, yeah. And, like... The two, like... And then Gandalf comes back from the dead. And then Aragorn supposedly dies after being taken off the cliff by a boar or whatever it was. And then just shows up in Rohan later. It's like, okay, we didn't see how he survived. What happened? We see him go off the cliff. Is he not pissed that they just left him there and didn't search for him? They just assumed he was dead? I don't know. And, like... I don't think Arwen's even in this film, but I think she was supposed to be. Like, I already said the battle scenes and stuff, but it seems like Arwen is a replacement for her because she's basically the same character. She has an unrequited love for Aragorn despite just meeting the guy. And when they think that he's dead, she mourns for him like they were lovers, but they barely knew each other. It's confusing. And like I said, Arwen was supposed to lead the soldiers there and give him the sword, but we have random elf dude that leads the elves there instead. I don't know. So after just abandoning Merry and Pippin because they were trees, yes, the trees, the Ents, or whatever they're called, Treebeard, voiced by John Rhys Davies, so he plays a dual role here, but it works. He has a good voice for it. The trees are going to launch attack on Saruman and wherever he's from. I forgot where it's from. I forgot what it is. It starts with an I, right? Hold on. Is there a map in here that shows? Rohan, Gondor, Mordor, Arnor, and Newitch. Arnor, the Shire. I'm looking. Grey Mountains. Dunland. Fangorn, Rohan, Aragorn Umbar. I'm looking for it. It starts with an I. White Mountains. Rolohanian. Eregion. No, I said erection. A map of Middle as it appears in Tolkien's books. There is... I can't find it, though. It starts with an I. Isn't it? Is there not another map somewhere? Hang on. Nah. Schmiegel. Orc. The Mines of Moria. No, that's not what I want. Singstone. No. You people are probably yelling at me. It's this! Yes, I know. Or you idiots throwing an I. Say the Ring Bearers. Second Age of Men. Galadriel, that's her name. Ring Wraith. 2 Towers. Tempt. Show for us. A little bit gone. Isengard. Isengard. Yes, I had to look at the thing. Isengard. God damn. Yes, so Merry and Pippin take the trees, or wood, what does it say? Woodland elves. I guess. No. Ladder, which helps to manage. Meanwhile, Isengard, Treebeard and the Ents. Yeah, they are take down Saruman's people, which is fine. But the Battle of Helm's Deep is the good one. That's the one you should check out. It's a good fight. But meanwhile, Frodo, I forgot his name. Frodo and Sam meet up with Faramir, Boromir's brother, and are basically taken hostage for a point in the film. And it feels like here, either Tolkien or whoever wrote the script was like, we can't get them there this fast. We gotta make it so they just get halted in their journeys. And it's like they just sit there with Faramir, who doesn't listen to them, and even when they say, "Oh, and your brother," the way that Sam talks, he's like, he turned on Mr. Frodo, which they never explain why they call him Mr. Frodo. They turned on Mr. Frodo. He attacked him, and did he attack him? I just thought he asked for the ring and went off on him. I don't think it was anything physical. And that's not how he died, though. He died protecting Merry and Pippin, right? Or trying to save them. Didn't he? He died a hero. I don't know, to make it seem way different here, but throughout the film, we see the ring take effect, affecting Frodo and making him, making him succumb to the ring as it goes further and further. And he almost gives it to Nazgul, but Sam is able to shake him out of it. And this, I think, is what makes Faramir let him go. Even though he has to give up his life because of it. By the way, Faramir is played by Friar Carl. Whenever David Wenham is in a film, he's Friar Carl to me. Even though after my last watch, I wasn't a big fan of Van Helsing, he's always going to be Friar Carl. David Wenham is pretty good as Faramir. Even if his character isn't completely necessary. So yes, Sam and Frodo are free to go on their own. And they meet up with Gollum, who is once again arguing with himself and says that he's going to take them to her and have her kill them. Who is she? You'll find out in the next one, but it's not good. The Battle of Helm's Deep. This may be one of the best battles I've seen in this kind of movie. Think of like the battle at the end of Army of Darkness, but like 10 times, 20 times better. It is fantastic. And as much as I complained about the CGI in the battle at the beginning of the first film, this is better. They definitely it's only like a year later, but it's better. It's really good. And I think it's done very well. I don't understand why the male children have to fight. Like, why would you? Isn't the thing like get the women and children out first? I don't know. Also, the scene in which Gandalf casts out Sauron from the king, Theoden, I think his name is. The way he looks all old, decrepit, and he starts to get younger and younger and younger because the evil magic is getting away from him. It's a pretty cool effect, you know. This has decent effects. Gollum is still a little bit iffy sometimes, but it's still a good effect. And of course, you still got the music. You still got the cinematography and the landscapes and the sets. It's still all really good, which is why I can't bring myself to give this a middle of the road, because while I have some problems with it, it's still handled really well. So, yeah, this is a little bit of a shorter review because the other one is a movie I've loved to watch. The problem is I really love that one, but then when I have to sit and watch all three, it starts to kind of drag a little bit. And so that's why the later two probably won't be as extensive of a review as the first one, as it just kind of like, okay, let's do this. Like it gets long in the tooth. Like the long run times they get to you. The first one, I love the first one. And I really don't. But the problem is, these movies are designed to go one after another. So if you watch one, you're obligated to watch the next one and the one after that. It's not like Star Wars. You can watch the first Star Wars and then just stop. Because while there is a continuation, it doesn't pick directly up from it. So it's not something you have to directly watch it. You could actually watch Empire Strikes Back without watching the other two of the original Star Wars trilogy and be fine. You would have to have seen the other ones, but if you've seen the other two, you could watch it without, Same thing with the Indiana Jones films. The Indiana Jones films are like singular stories where you can just pick one, except for maybe Crystal Skull. You would have to have seen Raiders of the Lost Ark to understand some character stuff there, but with these, you kind of obligated to watch one after the other, because you can watch Fellowship of the Ring, marriage, to watch Fellowship of the Ring, and be like, okay, but what happens next? And this one picks up right after it. So, and then the next one does the same thing. So it's kind of like you have to watch these trilogy. Even Back to the Future, which has a cliffhanger, you don't need to hurry up and watch the second one right away. And I think that's where this one these films kind of are muddled down after the first one for me, is because you're kind of obligated to watch them afterwards because they're a continuing story. It's the same thing with The Hobbit. But still, I'd say that when it comes to the Twin Towers, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, it's still pretty good. So what are your thoughts on Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.